Yo, yo, yo.
Hello.
Oh.
There we are.
Hello.
Yeah. Takes a second.
I'm so sorry. I'm late again. I fucking suck. All right. Let's do this, man. We got 56 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's cover all the issues.
Mm-hmm.
Let's offer deep, unique analysis of every major issue that people are discussing today, and let's leave people feeling educated, entertained, and good about themselves.
Yeah. According to YouTube, man, I thought, I had a certain worldview about things. I thought,
Did you?
I thought, I was seeing the world a certain way, but then a bunch of strangers with anonymous profiles called me stupid and gay. And that made me totally rethink everything. I'm like, whoa,
I'm so
somebody
sorry.
I've never met before is calling me stupid and gay on the internet. Wow.
I'm so sorry.
I have to rethink everything now.
You should, dude. Was it Darkwing 7776532? That guy? That guy's smart. He's really.
I know.
Yeah, he's good.
Really,
he's good.
Yeah.
If he said it, you should think again about.
And he also misspells gay, so he doesn't get censored. Like real brave and direct here.
Yeah. And then there's Patriot Uncle Golden Eagle, I think his name is. He's every time he talks to me, I'm like, fuck, dude, how did you know?
How did you know?
Wow. They're very insightful.
They are.
I love the people on Twitter. Everybody leave Twitter right now and go to Substack. Go to Substack Notes. I'm serious. I've been telling everybody, it's just true. You don't have to subscribe to my Substack. Just go to Substack and just be there. The world will be a better place. You will be happier. It's just you don't have the zombie cretins dominating Twitter the way you do on Substack. Yeah.
Or bots. Like, oh my
goodness,
I can't tell you how many, like you're saying, a long string of serial code letter numbers after the end of the name. Like, but definitely go to Substack. I'm trying to share the screen right now. Yeah. People have been begging for it. The interview show is back. ThaddeusRussell.substack.com. Back-to-back
You mean
interviews
Unregistered is back?
Unregistered, my bad.
Use the name, brother. Yes, Unregistered is back. We have 2 episodes in the can, dropping a 3rd one tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Just interviewed an awesome, amazing interview today. We toured the globe. But yeah, we'll be releasing that tomorrow. But we've got Daryl Cooper, we've got Kit Clarenberg, we've got, what is it? I got 10 articles now up. History, politics, a little philosophy, some World War II, some American Revolution, the neocons. Yeah, I cover a lot. And there's more to come. I'm dropping content on Substack about twice a week now. Written essays, interviews, unregistered interviews. And I forgot to put this on there. Anyway, pretty soon you will not be able to join the after show unless you're a Substack subscriber, because I'm that mean of a person. That'll be very soon. Anyway, we got stuff to talk about.
Sorry, I'm gonna plug Substack even more.
Hell yeah,
because Unregistered Academy is on Substack right now, and it's honestly the best it's ever looked. Most direct. True. You can find what you want in a couple of clicks that load fast. And all the courses we've been doing for the past 3 or 4 years now at the Unregistered Academy website, laid out as best as they can be, fast and direct. We've got 10.
That's your yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Probably I don't know, 100 hours maybe of content on here for $15 a month. We've got
more than probably 200 hours. Probably, about
history, philosophy, geopolitics. That's awesome. The real deep dives.
Yeah, and I people should know that there will be announcements about new live courses coming out soon. Live courses on topics we've already taught about, but are revised. We have I have a large new audience now from Substack, and they've been clamoring for particular courses to be taught live. So I'm going to be doing that. Probably I'll be announcing it within days. But the live courses they'll be going live within, I think, 2 weeks on various topics. But in the meantime, yeah, you can take everything. You can watch all the courses 100% on Substack for the lowest price we've ever offered because of Substack's pricing parameters. It's you'll see. Go to Substack. It's the cheapest price we've ever given for our courses. So now is the time. Look for new announcements about live courses, and it's a whole new world. Go to Substack, like immediately. Don't go to don't. You'll be so much happier. Trust. I'm not joking. It's really kind of a panacea for those of us who are serious about ideas. Good job, Ian Jones. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. Yes. Follow Ian. No, I mean I'm dead serious. If you don't have to subscribe to me at all. Just go to Substack and spend time there. We need to. I know, Boris, I screwed up, but it's on Patreon. Oh, geez. You know what? Let me put it on Substack right now.
Cool. And it's a serious place. If you want to interact with real people who show their real faces and share their actual ideas sincerely and talk about them back and forth, that's the place to go. And yeah, even if you don't like that, the best reporting is on there.
If you hate me, yeah. Especially if you hate me.
Yeah.
I've actually had this proves that Substack is a superior platform. I've had several people tell me who have discovered me on Substack for the first time. They've said, I disagree with a lot of what you're saying, but I'm going to follow you anyway because you're making me think.
Yeah.
And that's better than someone who agrees with me. I love that person more than anybody. And there's a lot of those on. Again, it's Substack is really, it's amazingly full of people who are just curious. It's stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning. Truly stunning. All right, go ahead.
That's been the Unregistered project from day one, is people who just like to discuss ideas and think about ideas, people who aren't afraid to disagree, and people who actually get excited when they disagree. My favorite quote from your interview with Alexander Dugin, I believe this was your interview, is that there are two kinds of people when they hear a new idea. One group of people gets for the pitchfork and torches, and the other group opens a bottle of champagne and enjoys the new idea. So
that's right.
If you want to enjoy the new idea, that's where it is.
Yep. All right, I am putting this on. I'm putting the after show Zoom link on Substack in a moment, and everyone should just go there if you want to come join up on the after show. Let's see.
If I do want to segue into news, I will say it's amazing that there isn't a ton of people clamoring about Epstein on Substack. There's people covering Epstein and like doing measured journalism about it, but there's no release the files right now, or you yourself are a pedophile going on. There's no witch hunts yet on Substack that I'm seeing.
Yep.
It seems to be a phenomenon entirely on a social media platform created by a person who left an administration amongst a personal vendetta and started a rumor and is now amplifying content to spread that rumor.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk about Epstein.
Yeah, Tracy coverage is amazing. Boris,
yeah.
Michael Tracy's been great on it.
So I just put the link for the after show on Substack, everyone. So go check that out if you want to join us. There it is. Yeah, cool. Looks good, actually. Yeah, we're going to talk about how the Democrats created the Epstein hoax to bring down the MAGA movement. Because that's what happened.
Yeah.
Apparently. I mean, as of 2 days ago, that's what happened. Until 2 days ago, it was Democrats are satanic pedophiles, and We know this because of Epstein. And the first thing we're going to do when we take power is release the Epstein files and put everyone involved in prison.
Well, I've got to say, Trump himself never said that.
It's not going well for you. Just
only media grifters said that.
You're still not going to admit it. Okay, great.
Last week I was saying Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon are the movement, but I'm starting to wane my support of them and see them as less serious figures than they were. I still love them. I still love their content, but it's media grifters. It's media mayhem. It's a media mass hysteria thing. There's a lot of real stuff with the case and everything, but like as a serious person, like Thad, you're the sexual hysteria panic guy. Don't you see this as a sexual hysteria panic that is whipping people up into a frenzy? Like everybody's a satanic, right?
Well, here's the thing I always did.
Yeah.
This is the thing I haven't said, I guess, publicly, but
this is making everybody flip-flop. Everybody. Yeah. It's making everybody.
I always thought that it was largely a moral panic, a sex hysteria. Largely, not entirely. I think there's more than enough reason to investigate. And this is Glenn Greenwald's position. I take exactly Glenn Greenwald's position on this. There is more than enough reason to at least ask questions about whether Epstein was working for a government. Mm-hmm. We need to do that. There's plenty of evidence to suggest that. We need to get to the bottom of that. And that's vitally important. No matter what happened on the island, it doesn't matter. If a government was using him to blackmail people for political reasons, then of course that's immensely important. And I still think there's a solid chance that that's true. In fact, I lean toward believing he was working in some way or another with Mossad, because Mossad's history, and this is where people should start, by the way. Start with the history of Mossad and its tactics. So it's two primary tactics, and this goes back to 1948. I mean, the entire history of Israel since Mossad was created, basically. It's two principal tactics, and again, I refer to Ronen Bergman, what's it called? Rise and Kill First. This book that came out a couple of years ago. This guy is former Israeli intelligence, New York Times reporter, establishment, Zionist. He wrote the book on it. He wrote it just before Gaza happened, which was sort of a mistake on his part, because it really shows how absolutely ruthless, merciless, and barbaric, basically, Israeli foreign policy has been since the beginning. He just sees it as like noble because they were killing the bad guys. But the two principal tactics of the Mossad for the last 78 years have been assassinations and sexual blackmail. Getting information on people and then telling them, we're going to disclose to your wife that you're having an affair, or we're going to disclose to your Arab village that you're gay unless you do what we tell you to. They've done this over and over and over again. And there's an entire unit. I think it's 8,800. Somebody can remind me. I always get the number wrong. There's an entire unit which was just bombed by Iran, by the way. And it was a lovely thing that they got bombed. The digital surveillance espionage unit, I forget the exact name. I think it's 8,800 within the IDF. And much of what they have done over the years, much of what they do is just collect intelligence on Palestinians, usually in Gaza or the West Bank. And they're looking for gay guys or guys who have cheated on their wives. But especially the gay guys, because they know they can get them into trouble, and then they turn them into informants for them. And then when they get caught, they get lynched in Gaza for good reason. But so
8,200.
8,200.
Yes. Saying,
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that unit. That's much of what they've done. You can 972, the Israeli sort of left-wing media outlet, has reported on them extensively. You don't have to look at crazy anti-Zionists for this information. It's from Israeli sources themselves in Israel reporting on this. So, but the history of Mossad and the IDF too has been assassinations and sexual blackmail. And also we've seen this recently with the assassination fixation. Look at how they've conducted their 7 wars that they've been 7 wars simultaneously, a whole bunch of assassinations. They killed, I think, the entire Hamas leadership within Gaza, those who were actually in Gaza, like the top 5 or 6 or 7 guys are all dead. And then, of course, Hezbollah, Nasrallah on down, and we haven't heard anything from Hezbollah in a year now, right? So they clearly did wipe out much of their leadership. Iran, what did they do? They went straight for the heads. They tried to get the Ayatollah, and they tried to get the president. They couldn't, but I think they missed them narrowly, but they wiped out apparently much of the military leadership and several political leaders as well. I mean, it's a decapitation obsession. And so with Jeffrey Epstein, we have potentially a sexual blackmail operation, and we have potentially an assassination. Okay, well, I know some people who are really apt at those things and tend to favor those things to do. So doesn't mean they did it. It just means we need to start there as your principal suspect. Again, if there's a guy in your neighborhood who's like known as a murderer and a blackmailer, and someone gets offed and blackmailed in your neighborhood, you're going to go to him first. So that's all. Maybe they're innocent. Maybe Mossad is squeaky clean on this. I'd be surprised, but we have to start there. So it's kind of crazy to dismiss that. And all these, well, I want you to talk about Trump and his statements in the last couple of days, which I think have ended the Trump movement, the MAGA movement. I think he's done.
Are the walls finally closing in?
No, I think who still, besides you, who supports Trump now?
93% of Republicans, according to polling data. Yeah.
Oh, really? When was the polling done, brother?
Come on, this month, July. July polling data.
After the Epstein?
I believe July 10th was that. Yeah, I believe. And
they weren't. No. They weren't talking to those people on the phone after the. You know what I mean? The research was done before the Epstein drop.
Michael Tracy has been reporting on this, and the polling data on that, there was a CNN poll that showed Republicans actually care the least about this. Independents and Democrats care the most about it.
Yeah. All of a sudden, they care the least about it.
Exactly. or they're most likely to say they're satisfied with the information that came out, and they're most likely to say that they don't care or that there's not enough. The people who say they're dissatisfied are independents and Democrats, according to CNN's poll.
How many days before Charlie Kirk is asking questions about age of consent laws? And
well, this is the thing. This is the metric, though. Midterms. The midterms are the metric, right? About this, right? And right now, Republicans are polling better than they did in 2006 and 2018. They're way better positioned than they typically are for midterms. Pennsylvania is getting more registration. North Carolina is getting more registration. I'm just saying, it looks.
You're talking a lot, and I'm just feeling good right now. Can you just let me feel good in this? I'm just
sure.
You're like a lot of like facts and shit. I just want to Can we just?
I know.
I mean, it is the most beautiful implosion I've ever witnessed in politics. It is so beautiful. It's like. I was gonna say a few years ago, when they were calling everybody a pedophile and a groomer. Remember this? And you might know somebody who was called that by them. I was thinking, I didn't really say it, but I was thinking the whole time, live by the sword.
Yeah,
I knew it, and I didn't know it was going to be Trump himself. I didn't know, and then Bannon himself. My God! And now the stuff about Bannon, and I'm a fan of Steve Bannon, by the way. I have no beef with Steve Bannon. In fact, I like him. But it looks like he had an even closer relationship with Epstein.
This is the thing. How can you demand?
Has 100 hours or something of interviews with him?
I think.
Here's
the thing. Like, how can you demand that Trump release the Epstein files when you're sitting on tens of hours of footage of an exclusive interview with Jeffrey Epstein that you've had for 6+ years?
Yeah.
And you're basically doing exactly what Trump is doing. I'll release it on my own terms in my own documentary a year from now.
Right.
Like, none of these people are serious. If Steve Bannon really cared about this and wanted the same transparency that he's demanding of Trump, he would release the full interviews files unscripted. That's basically what he's demanding of Trump, right? Like unedited, like release everything unedited. But no.
So again, I know. So again, tell me how this movement survives this. I honestly don't see it. I mean, I just don't see it.
This is what's happening. The Trump movement, Trump is a singular figure, and the Trump movement is a broad coalition with a bunch of people who hate each other and have different interests. And everybody is vying for the influence of the guy at the top. So they are making a ton of noise trying to influence the guy at the top to get as much stuff done. That doesn't mean that they've completely abandoned the guy at the top. It just means that they're fighting over him, and they're fighting over influence of him. I think Alex Jones, Tucker, and Steve Bannon are still saying he's doing a lot of great stuff domestically, and that they are totally on board with him, and that they're happy they voted for him, and they're still on the team. If you listen to, like, if you cherry pick the quotes where Steve Bannon is really mad about Epstein, it looks like he hates them and everything's splintering. But if you listen to the whole show, he's dedicating 45 minutes a day to talking about his victories and trying to push his agenda forward.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I see people still united behind the figure of Trump. And the thing is, Democrats still exist, and they are still the opposition. And they are doubling down on 80-20 issues that they were completely rejected on. They're doubling down on trans kids. They're doubling down on trans athletes. They're doubling down on benefits to illegal immigrants. All the optics
they are
right now. Yeah.
They're doubling down on trans kids. I haven't seen any trans stuff in ages.
They're not changing their policies, and they're fighting to keep those policies in place. They're sort of distancing themselves from the rhetoric, but they're still fighting for those programs, and they're trying to change their messaging about him.
I mean, the Democrats should be saying nothing right now.
Yeah.
They should just be completely silent and let Trump continue to wrap that noose around his neck. He just keeps going around and around his neck. I just watched him. I'm just like, he's a stupid old man. I mean, this tweet today on Truth Social about Epstein, if that's not the end of the movement, I don't know what else. If you ever voted for this guy or supported him in any way, and you read that tweet on Truth Social today about Epstein, the hoax perpetrated by the Democrats, and you continue to support him, I don't.
Well,
come on. This was the number one issue, and he's clearly compromised, and he's clearly lying, and you've clearly covering up. No. He's clearly covering up what these idiots think was a pedophile ring, which it never was. It was not a good thing necessarily, but it was never a pedophile ring. But anyway, like what?
The hoax is that he himself is personally implicated in it. I think that's the hoax he's referring to, not everything else. I think that's what he's specifically calling a hoax. And I think he's calling broader things a hoax. And he's choosing not to. I know. He's, you know.
You know him.
You've got to take it in context, though, of what's happening. And the thing is,
you know what he really meant.
Well, I do have a little bit of insight on Trump and Epstein. I do know people who.
Oh, why is that, Michael?
I do know people who have known billionaires.
Wait, what were you, like 14 when that happened?
I know. Look,
they were like, "What's this kid doing here?"
The Epstein thing is so wide that it's not uncommon to know somebody who knows a billionaire who has photographs of themselves with Jeffrey Epstein and photographs of themselves with Donald Trump.
Well,
yeah,
I knew a billionaire who killed himself 2 years ago, as I said on this show, who was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He was 80 years old, and he was a billionaire with a wife and children and a very successful career and no problems publicly that anyone knew of, who put a gun under his chin in his office 2 years ago. Tom Lee, you can look it up. Thomas H. Lee, major mergers and acquisitions guy. He and I were in the same family for a while. We were in-laws in the same family, and came to my wedding, went to his wedding, been on his plane before.
So you're implicated now. You're implicated.
Yeah, well, the plane went to Savannah, Georgia, I didn't go to the Virgin Islands, so I'm pretty clean on this. Plus, I was with my infant son at the time. No, and there's speculation within the family that Tom, and also Tom had a zipper problem. He was, long before this, we knew this about him, hit on everybody all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if.
Now this is the thing. What if he was just, with adult women and hanging out with a guy who has rich and powerful friends like Epstein did?
Sure.
But he's on the flight logs.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, that's enough to call him a pedophile, and that's enough to threaten his family.
Sure.
That's enough to put him in jeopardy. And Donald Trump himself is implicated in the same degree of separation manner.
Yeah.
As are Prince Andrew, now King Andrew.
Right.
More so.
No. That's Andrew is not Charles.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Yeah. Prince Andrew.
They're extremely important, and you should be embarrassed for confusing them because they're vitally important.
I do not really care about the royals,
They fucking matter.
Yeah. Prince Andrew.
Right.
Prince Andrew, Ehud Barak, and Bill Clinton.
Oh my God. Barack.
And Bill Clinton. And
no, I
Bill
know, but
Gates,
I'm just thinking about I hadn't seen the pictures of Ehud Barak walking into Jeffrey Epstein's brownstone in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I had not seen that before this week. Oh boy. That dude's in trouble. Although he's Israeli, so he probably won't be in trouble ever, actually.
So if these documents were to be released, it's going to be, you can't trust these people to handle it with any sort of care and actually get to the truth about it without blowing it up into a broader conspiracy that could seriously jeopardize peace talks and seriously jeopardize the economy with all the tech and the finance people that are implicated in this. I'm not in for covering up pedophile scams, but that's just I don't think there's a single president. I don't think there's a single person with power who cares about the balance of things, that looks at where the media landscape is right now, looks at what the actual files are. And the only people who have actually looked at those files and who actually knows what's in them at this point is probably Donald Trump and Pam Bondi. And it's their discretion at this point. And I think there's enough information out there for us to get a picture of what was going on to some extent if you do good journalism like Daryl Cooper's been doing. And but Daryl Cooper's been making some great points on this too, especially with the intelligence ties and making really nuanced points about it. But I don't think you need to release something that will create this pitchfork mob. I do think that it's been very not media savvy of him to completely dismiss his base on this, and his messaging has been really bad. But what do you expect with the story?
So it has never been a pedophilia ring. As far as I've never heard of a girl being prepubescent. They all apparently were adolescents, and so it makes it an ephebophilia ring. Ephebophilia is a sexual attraction to adolescents. And that's what it is, which is also illegal depending on which state you're in. If you're in a red state, if you're in a very, very Republican, very conservative, very Christian, Bible Belt, deep red state, the age of consent will be low. The lowest age of consent laws in the United States are all in red states. Go to Alabama and Georgia and Mississippi if you want to fuck a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. In California, it's 18, always has been. New York State's 18, always has been. It's a weird thing. Pot calling the kettle something, which again, I knew that when they were screaming groomer about everybody, that a whole passel of them would be implicated in all sorts of underage sex. Anyway.
Well, also, the if you look at the testimonies, the people being accused of the raping is Jeffrey Epstein himself. It's hard to find a witness accuse anybody else. Of
didn't know that
actual sexual assault. And Alan Dershowitz's line,
didn't know that.
there's especially even Bill Clinton it's very, degrees of separation, innuendo. And
right.
And Alan Dershowitz's line. Now, Alan Dershowitz may not know how insane this sounds, but Alan Dershowitz always said, "My underwear was always on." And what he's implying there is that these weren't sexual acts; these were consensual massages.
You just made me think about Alan Dershowitz's underwear.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Continue. So, to Alan Dershowitz's understanding, all of the activity that was on that island was legal. And yeah, that's the story.
Because it was in international waters or something?
No, because it wasn't like actual sexual activity.
Sex. Yeah, no, yeah. All right. Well, okay. So I guess there's two sets of questions, and they're completely unrelated, actually, or should be unrelated. One is, were they pedophiles? Were these prepubescent girls or postpubescent girls? And if they were 16 instead of 10, then what do we call it? And was there actual sex with them by these famous men, or was it just Epstein doing it? Okay, that's one whole set of questions, which is actually the least important set of questions. I mean, it's important for the people involved, but politically and socially, it's basically unimportant. None of that, it doesn't matter though, right? If the major theory that is important, I think, is at all salient, the question, it doesn't matter if the girls were 10 or, well, it matters a little bit, but not that much, between 10 and 16. If my former, I guess he was, cousin-in-law was having sex with a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 25-year-old or a 40-year-old, and his wife found out about it, he was toast. Anyway, right? So it doesn't matter, right? They would have had plenty of incriminating evidence to blackmail people with, no matter the age of the girls or women on that island. And even if even if they didn't have sex with them,
even if they didn't do anything, they could say,
Nothing.
"Hey, you've been implicated in this," and we could cook something up. And
sure,
that's probably even more likely, because
if your name is listed anywhere, right, on any flight log or anything, you're very much in trouble, at least sort of reputationally. I mean, Prince Andrew, the only thing I've seen that's evidence is that one picture of him, fully clothed with another fully clothed. She could have been 20. I don't know. She could have been 16. I don't know, but whatever, girl. But that's it. I mean, they were like posing for a picture together. I mean, which I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So Mossad did it. They've been doing it, I think. I mean, don't we think? Isn't that it was a thing?
Well, there's ties to Mossad. This is a point that Daryl Cooper makes. That he uses an example of an operation that was happening in Ireland, that there was a pedo ring in Ireland, and a journalist alerted to the authorities, and the authorities didn't do anything, and they said, "Stop talking about it. You're going to blow our cover," because the authorities were monitoring it. They weren't directly involved. They didn't set it up, but they were just monitoring it because it was a gold mine of information on people. So it may not have been set up by intelligence, but it could have been spied on intelligence and projected by intelligence if it wasn't even directly run by intelligence. And it could have been an asset for information for intelligence that all these rich people are cavorting around, and doing illegal activity. Great thing for intelligence to do. And, maybe Epstein is a guy who was actually being manipulated by intelligence and got in over his head. We don't know. Yeah.
True. Right. I mean, he could have been blackmailed.
Yeah.
Right. Himself. That could have been what's going on. Yeah. He himself could have been blackmailed and forced to do various things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless, again, so I guess maybe there's a third issue, which has to do with the integrity of Donald Trump and the leaders of the MAGA movement. Right. That's a third issue. And again, the first two issues or sets of questions are also irrelevant to this one because we know they're lying. And so lying about an issue that was so important, centrally important to your supporters and voters.
Who's lying? Is Trump lying about this? Is that what you're saying?
Is he not? Don't you think?
I think what he's saying is that...
You don't think he's lying? What are you talking about? What's wrong with you?
I think
Everybody
it's hard.
thinks he's lying,
He's not making concrete claims that could be called a lie.
True.
Yeah.
Good point. In a court of law. There's nothing on him. You're right. There is no right. There's nothing that could be called a lie. Right. There's no denial of anything. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. Good point. Which again confirms that he's lying. I mean, confirms that he's withholding. He's not lying, but he's withholding. He's hiding. He's obfuscating.
He is hiding these files. Yeah, but we have to. What he's saying is that he doesn't think that there's any credible evidence that would be useful to be out there. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So are we sure that there's no evidence of any powerful man having any kind of sexual relation with a legally underage girl?
There could be nothing but innuendo in these files. That's the thing. Is there a smoking gun in these files? Like, and again, what he's saying is that these were under the possession of Comey. You know, this was under the possession of the Democrats for years, and it's been tampered with. So omitted, most likely. A ton has probably been deleted, and a ton has been tampered with, is what he's alleging. And that deep state operatives who used to not talk about this at all are all of a sudden talking about it because it's a useful political hammer to go after Trump with. So that's his comparison to the Russia hoax, is that this is an entirely deep state construct that is being used against me politically. It's a deep state CIA blackmail ring that has flimsy evidence, and now when it's politically useful, it's being brought up when it wasn't before. Also, I think he's not passionate about this issue and isn't. I think the only time he's ever talked about is Lex Friedman.
But the Democrats have ignored this issue.
Not until today.
Well, yeah, right. But don't you think they would have been hammering him about it?
They would have been hammering him if they had actual evidence. They didn't have evidence when they had the files in their possession.
What?
If there was a smoking gun, they would have used it by now.
Sure.
When Biden had the files for 4 years, they would have used the smoking gun.
But how is it a Democrat deep state operation if they didn't mention it until 2 days ago?
Congressional Democrats are mentioning it now to get as much traction as it to undermine his credibility with the base and to slow down his agenda. They're using it like they did with Mueller.
So they created the hoax on Monday?
No,
confused.
They started talking about it once Trump was in office.
So to go after him. It's what they've been doing for the last 48 hours is the hoax.
For the most part,
that doesn't work logically.
That's the hoax, and the files that he's seen himself that have been tampered with by Comey.
Wait, what's the hoax? Wait, what is the hoax that the Democrats are perpetrating?
The hoax is the Democrats are talking about it all of a sudden now because it's a political tool, and the files themselves have been tampered with. He's seen the files. They were in Democrat possession for 4 years.
Wait, but the Democrats are not claiming anything about the veracity of anything. It was Trump and all of his millions of supporters.
Trump never claimed
Trump never whatever. Did. Okay. His millions of supporters have been, including his vice president very recently.
Yeah.
Right. On Theo Von. Have been making claim after claim after claim after claim after claim about what's really true about these fucking files and about Epstein. And now we know that they weren't telling the truth. And so that would be a hoax. That would be the definition of a hoax. So I don't know what the Democrats have done that's a hoax, except to point this out the way.
Well, here's the thing. Once Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, the big people alleging everything about these files, got into office, they saw the files. They're the only ones who have seen the files, and now they themselves aren't talking about it. Yeah. That they're literally the only people who can speak on this authoritatively. You can allege they're lying. I don't trust Kash Patel. But for other reasons. But like
because his girlfriend's Jewish.
No, because he's Indian.
Right. Better. Yeah, that's a better reason. Yeah.
It's a scamming. It's all about scamming.
They're sneaky. They're very sneaky.
Look at Vivek. It's scams.
Sneaky. Yeah.
But
there's 2 billion of them, man. It's a lot of fucking scammers.
Scamming.
Yeah.
So again, they're the ones who have actually seen what's on. They're the ones saying there's nothing there. They're the ones saying if there was something there, we'd tell you.
Yeah.
They're the ones saying that.
Yeah.
Now also there has been a chimp out online, and as Trump supporters have been saying, strategic chimping. Perhaps there will be a special counsel. John Solomon is reporting that there will be a special counsel appointed about the Epstein files and that there will be a release coming forward.
Sweet.
There have been reversals like this before, but it is possible.
That's true.
That when they were in Democrat possessions for 4 years, they were largely tampered with, largely deleted, that the FBI did what they always do and did a cover up.
Come on now. Trump was in office for 4 years last time I checked before that. And you can like photocopy shit. You can like scan it and like have permanent copies of it on the internet that last forever and ever, no matter what. So I don't quite see how the Democrats could have done anything to that information.
Okay, you're alleging that there's a secret hard drive somewhere of these files. And Mar-a-Lago was raided for files relating to Russia collusion, right? Like, if you have files, like, they're going to go.
They could have been copied. They could have been copied and placed in places that the Democrats couldn't delete. Why is this crazy?
Well, because we're talking about the deep state here. We're talking about long-term bureaucrat operatives handling this. So I think Trump himself is personally implicated in this, but not in a smoking gun way, and that he actually isn't passionate about this and cares about domestic policy. Like,
he's not. You think Trump is not passionate about the Epstein question?
Correct. I think he's never cared about this. The only time he's ever talked about it was when Lex Friedman, another deep state operative, a guy created in a lab by the deep state, by big tech. That's the only time he ever talked about this.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only.
Has anyone ever seen Lex Friedman bleed? I doubt it. Yeah, go ahead.
So that's where we're at. I don't see how you can expect a smoking gun like this to come out, because if a smoking gun were to come out, it would seriously destabilize the economy and destabilize international relations. Like, if that exists, which I'm not even sure it does. I think. Yeah.
That's why we should excuse the child rapists, because it'll hurt the economy. Wait, what's happening?
Right.
What's going? No, I mean. Well, Jesus. Okay, listen. Aphebophilia is what it really was.
It's possible this goes. I'm just saying, it's possible this is a conspiracy that goes way, way, way super deep. It is. And that there are smoking guns out there. That's entirely possible.
Goes all the way to Tel Aviv.
It goes to Ehud Barak. It goes to Bill Clinton. It goes to decades of policy. It goes to Bill Gates. It goes to Lex Wexner. It goes to Stephen Hawking. It goes to everybody in academia, everybody in technology. Like,
yeah.
Now,
Israelis are horny. They're known for this. I mean, I think it's quite possible.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. The pedophile haven in Israel.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I haven't
real.
dug all the way down into it, but I do think it's real. It looks like it's real. I've seen way too many news stories and reports about this. About if you're Jewish, of course. If you're a Jewish pedophile, it looks like you can pretty easily get asylum, essentially, in Israel. There's many such cases. So yeah, it is kind of a thing. And as Curtis Yarvin said, and we've talked about this, there's 3 kinds of Jews. There's the book Jews, the money Jews, and the sex Jews. Very true. And sometimes they look out after each other. So anyway, enough of this anti-Semitism. Let's move on to the blacks. Do you have anything on them?
Well, move from the sex Jews, the sodomy Jews,
Filipinos,
as I like to call them, to the war Jews.
Sodomy Jews. Wait, why do they have to be limited to sodomy? They like all kinds of sex. What do you mean?
I think they are particularly interested in not the reproductive kind.
Oh, no kidding. They're like gays, huh? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to talk
not the reproductive kind.
I'm going to talk to all my Jewish family members tonight about that. Did you guys know?
I'm sorry.
I was talking they were like, what? No, I was talking to some German guy in Indiana today. He said, anyway, go ahead.
But the war Jews, Israel just bombed Syria.
And I'm like, but he's really, really smart. No, I know he's German. I know, but no, can you listen to this for a second? They get very, very uptight when you mention these things. But all right, we got 20 minutes. Go ahead. What you want to say more about this?
All I'm saying is, like, it is my theory that the midterms will outperform the 2006 and 2018 midterms. That's my prediction.
Outperform meaning voter turnout?
Not voter turnout necessarily.
You mean outperform for your side?
More Republicans will be in a better place in the
red
House
votes.
and Senate. Yeah, more red votes.
Really? You're making this prediction now?
Yeah, but if the Democrats get a majority, it will be a very, very narrow majority.
Okay, and you have to explain this because you're the only person who thinks this.
Because the polling data shows this. It really does. Like,
what polling data?
There's do I need to show you the CNN clip that like literally says this verbatim?
Yes. Shoot. I don't believe it.
Okay. Dang it. Now I have to use my slow ass computer on this. While I'm finding this, Israel bombed Syria. I thought we could trust this new Al-Qaeda Syrian government. I thought we're going to lower sanctions against Al-Qaeda in Syria. Why do we have to bomb Syria all of a sudden?
Right.
I thought we were pro-jihadist. Why are we anti-jihadist?
I know. They like the Jews. They were like pro-Israel. Like Al-Qaeda all of a sudden is like pro-Israel. Weird. And then Israel bombs their asses, bombs the Ministry of Defense in the middle of Damascus. And you can see all kinds of videos of these cars, like rush hour cars, like driving around the thing. And then the whole fucking thing blows up and the cars just keep driving because I assume people in Syria are very used to having bombs blowing up buildings next to them. It's bizarre. Okay. So this is a tough one to understand, right? Because we now know, I mean, there's so much evidence that it was an alliance of Turkey, the US, and Israel that was behind the Jolani HTS insurgency that took down Assad, kicked him out of the country, and took control of the country. Various ways. We know this. Erdogan and Turkey kind of did a lot of the operational on the ground support of the jihadis. But Israel and the U.S. were there from the beginning, even from before the beginning, supporting them. And we know this from their subsequent statements. I mean, Jolani came out, was it like 2 weeks ago or a week ago? What was he, visiting Israel or meeting with Israelis and, making all sorts of statements about Israel, which is why I and many other geopolitical analysts have been saying, and I was not the first. There's many people who were ahead of this. Kevork Almassian, I've said his name a few times on the show, of Syriana analysis on YouTube. I mean, I think he might have been the very first and the most consistent. He's been saying, I mean, Israel and the US created ISIS and then they recreated Al-Qaeda with HTS, but they were supporting Al-Qaeda in Syria before when Jolani was fully a member of Al-Qaeda, getting CIA training and arms and money and everything. And now, they created this whole thing next door to Syria to defang the enemies of Israel. And Jolani was the puppet of Israel and the US and all this, which is that's my position 24 hours ago. Same with everybody on my side of geopolitics. And so today, or last night, Israel, as I said, bombed them, bombed that government. Okay, so why? And I have to say, I haven't seen any like solid, definitive compelling analysis as to why Israel would do this, except that they have only and always been interested in not supporting any particular side in Syria, which would make no sense to them, because there is no truly like pro-Israel Zionist side authentically, like naturally, right, in Syria. It's just a bunch of Arabs and Muslims and, you know, Arab Christians too, but just a bunch of Arabs, you know. What they want, and there have been many statements by Netanyahu and other Israeli officials over the years about this. What they want in Syria, and this is true, I think, for other Arab countries surrounding them, what they want is just to destroy them, just destroy those countries. And so what Israel's been doing for the last many, many months since the Syrian coup has been bombing the shit out of every single possible means of attack against Israel in Syria. So every weapon system, every military base, every artillery position, every airfield, whatever. They've just been going around the country and just bombing the shit out of it. So there's, no matter who takes control of Syria, they cannot attack Israel. That makes sense to me. It's kind of what they did in Iran, kind of what they did in Lebanon. It's kind of what they're doing in Gaza in a sense, right? There is no ultimate victory for Zionism. It can never have an ultimate victory. It can never defeat the entire
Are you
Arab
telling
world.
me it thrives on a perpetual enemy?
Believe it or not, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not even that it thrives on it; it creates it. It's the whole project from the very. They said it themselves, as I said many times.
It's defined by it, yeah.
It's necessary. I mean, the original Zionists, Jabotinsky, Herzl, Ben Gurion, all of them said, we're going to be fighting these people forever because indigenous people don't like to be colonized. They said in their own, indigenous people rebel against colonizers. And so we will be fighting them forever, which is why we need to have what Jabotinsky called an iron wall, which meant a dominant military. I mean, he said that shit in 1923, 102 years ago. And we're still wondering why there's wars in the Middle East around Israel, why Israel is fighting 7 different countries on 7 different fronts and bombing and killing and maiming children in 7 different countries simultaneously, and why the entire Arab world wants to annihilate the state of Israel. Why we're debating? Ask the Zionists themselves. It's so simple. It's right there. Or you can just take the Israel-Palestine course at Unregistered Academy. But yeah, no, I mean, just look up Jabotinsky's Iron Wall essay, 1923. Just do that. You don't have to listen to me. So they know this. Netanyahu knows this. The Israeli political class knows this. They can never have an ultimate victory. They can never defeat the entire Arab world, which is what it would take. They can never convince Palestinians and the Arab world to accept a Jewish exclusive apartheid ethno-state in the middle of the Arab world on the best real estate on the Mediterranean coast. Just accept it, guys. If you don't, you're anti-Semitic. They're never going to do that, or at least not in any foreseeable future. And so the best they can do, and this has been the Israeli strategy, as I said, remember, assassinations, what does that do? It'll disrupt your enemy, certainly, for a time, maybe for a long time, but not permanently. It's not going to change the structure of the problem of Zionism, which again is a Jewish colonial ethno-state in the middle of the Arab world. The best you can do is just fuck up their lives and make it difficult for them to organize against you. And so you just bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb and assassinate and do blackmail and blow up their phones in their hands and kill their children and send missiles into their apartments in Tehran, and what they've been doing for 80 years, plus years, 100 years. And they're just going to continue to do, there's nothing else they can do. And this will be the question I ask the next Zionist I have on my show, and I'm debating whether to have someone in mind I want to have on my show. But, you know, that's what I would say to them. It's like, don't you know that the Zionists themselves said that this would be an eternal war? And if so, why do you want Jews to live in eternal war? Why do you want Jews to live among people who, for very good reason, hate them because they've been displaced by these particular Jews? Why is that good for Jews? Why don't you move to Los Angeles instead? Anyway, but that explains the strategy. It's, again, everything about Israel has to be brought back to the original ideology of Zionism. I do think that there are many Israeli leaders, especially, who are essentially sociopathic, who truly either don't mind killing babies or like killing Palestinian babies. Yes, but again, you can find many Americans like that. You can find many British people like that. You can find many Australians like that too. I really want to keep coming back to the original founding, animating ideology of the whole project of the State of Israel. That the whole idea, and I wrote about this in the Daily Beast 15, 16 years ago, the whole idea is terrible for Jews. It's terrible, of course, for the Palestinians and the Arabs, and it's terrible for Americans who support the thing. It can only be eternal war. Zionism is nothing but that. And how on earth does that make Jews safer? How is that a safe haven for Jews? New York fucking City has been the safe haven for Jews. New York City has been the Zion. It has been the only Zion. Chicago too. That's where my Jewish family immigrated to. Fuck it. Alabama. Georgia, I was married into a Jewish family from Georgia, from Savannah. They owned the biggest steel company in the Southeast and were the most prominent, beloved figures in Savannah, Georgia. Famous. I don't think anyone ever called anybody in the Tenenbaums a kike. Ever. Come on over, guys. Get rid of your stupid Hebrew made-up names, your modern... You know about modern Hebrew, by the way? It's such a scam. Do you know about this whole thing?
Oh, yeah,
how they,
yeah.
Well, yeah, how they made it mandatory that you had to speak this Hebrew, but the thing was, they created a new version of Hebrew. It's called modern Hebrew.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with Semitic languages. If you look at it, and I didn't know this until recently, if you ask any linguist, like, it's all German and Russian derived. And that's why the Israelis talk like Nazis, interestingly.
Like the villains in all of our movies.
Incredible. Right. They don't sound like Arabs. They don't sound like Semitic people at all. There's not... Well, right. And they basically banned Yiddish. Beautiful.
And they call you anti-Semitic.
Oh my God!
Well, this is what Farrakhan's been saying for years. This is what
and Rabbi Shapiro. I mean, Rabbi Shapiro. You know, again, please go watch my interview with Rabbi Yaakov Shapiro. That's what he's been saying forever, which is that they are the biggest anti-Semites on earth. And Herzl himself, Theodor Herzl himself, the founder of the entire Zionist movement, was pretty clearly anti-Semitic in his statements. He had a Christmas tree in his house in Vienna. He was totally assimilated, never went to synagogue, never wore a kippah, none of that shit. He wanted to be accepted and beloved by Western Gentiles. And he thought that Israel, serving as their imperial outpost in the Middle East, would do that for them, would make the Gentiles in London and Washington love the Jews, because the Jews will be serving their interests for once. The whole thing from top to bottom is anti-Semitic. Forget anti-Arab, anti-Muslim. No, the whole thing was essentially to eradicate Judaism.
Semites and actual Semitic people.
Semitism. Yeah, right.
Actual...
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, so we all know, this is not controversial, that Herzl, Jabotinsky, Ben-Gurion, basically all the founders of the State of Israel were not just, they were secular. They didn't believe in God. They didn't wear yarmulkes. They were socialists. They were usually atheists. How exactly are they Jewish? Because Hitler said they were Jewish, which Rabbi Shapiro says that's the most anti-Semitic definition of being a Jew that I can imagine. I'm Jewish because Hitler said I'm Jewish. You follow the rules in the Torah. That's what makes you Jewish, period. It's that simple. The 600 and whatever rules there are in the Torah, you follow those, you're Jewish. That's what Rabbi Shapiro says. That's what most rabbis say who are not Zionists. It's clear to me. That's what the deal. And everybody else, fuck off. You're a bunch of posers. And because Hitler said, I'm me. Yeah, Hitler said I'm Jewish because I have one Jewish grandparent. Am I Jewish? Fuck no, I'm not Jewish. Give me a break. Hitler says I'm Jewish. It's the most anti-Semitic definition you can imagine. That is the Israeli definition.
Well,
of a Jew.
The project of Zionism itself is all about displacing and murdering actual Semitic people who have been occupying that land for thousands of years. Well,
displacing. They don't necessarily need to murder them, but they need to displace them. It just so happens that the people tend to resist being displaced, and then you have to murder them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Which is why, and again, which is why the Zionists relied, the original Zionists and the founders of the state of Israel, who did they rely on to do most of the killing and displacing? Jewish gangs. Actual Jewish gangs, of which there were many in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s in America and in Europe. And so a lot of these Jewish gangsters, the most badass motherfuckers ever, Murder Inc., the Purple Gang, and then there were a bunch of Jewish gangsters in Eastern Europe, came to Palestine, and they were the ones who got sent into the Palestinian villages to rout the inhabitants and shoot the young men and maybe rape the women if they felt like it, and run them out of their homes and take over the village and let the Zionist settlers move in. I mean, it was a gangster operation from the beginning, and they're kind of proud of it. Menachem Begin became one of the most famous and important Israeli prime ministers. Stern gang, straight up gangster, terrorist, no doubt. Not even a question about that. I mean, the entire thing's so fucking phony and just let's go. Let's get rid of it.
Real quick, we should talk maybe a little briefly about the weapons deal. Trump promising weapons to Ukraine, but the new stipulation, which actually was a campaign promise, that NATO will pay for it.
Right.
Yeah. Is this him selling out to his base, or is it incremental progress? Or
what? Well, what do I think? I think it's Trump not knowing what the fuck he's doing
Uh-huh.
anymore. I think he did have an idea 6 months ago. He really clearly wants to end the war, and well, you know me, I was like kind of fawning over the dude when he had that thing with Zelensky. That was the last time I said anything positive about Trump. But it's really clear he does want to end the war.
Yeah.
And he also wants to end the war, I think, I'd say generally in rational ways, which is to acknowledge that Russia has won. Although now he seems to be
is it possible
that Russia has won? And we
I
have
think
to deal with go ahead.
What's going on is that in the negotiations, which I think it's progress, first of all, that they're actually talking, that Trump and Putin are on the phone together. I think that's progress. But that in these negotiations, it's become clear that Putin is being pushed by hardliners, being pushed by his own generals to try to take over all of Ukraine. And that the concessions that Trump is offering is not enough. And that Putin isn't coming to the table in a way that would be acceptable to Trump, that would be acceptable to the West to end this war. And that now he has to try to play hardball with him.
Because I'm pretty sure it's physically and militarily impossible and politically impossible for Russia to take over all of Ukraine. I just don't see it colonizing a hostile territory like that. Again, seizing the Donbass and Crimea is different because 95% of the people who live there are pro-Russian and wanted them to be there. But to actually seize and then permanently control, meaning colonize, my God, a hostile country? People hate. Yeah. So I don't, and do you think Russia has the resources for that? They look how much they had to expend just to win the 20% that was favorable to them. So I mean, maybe there's some lunatic hardliners in Putin's cabinet who are telling him this, but I don't see how they could be seriously suggesting that. The attacks on Kiev, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kyiv recently.
Yeah.
I think pretty vicious missile strikes in Kyiv recently. I would guess, I don't know, but I would assume that that's just an attempt to like force a surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what, because they're not, the Donbass and Crimea are done. Like there's just not, unless the US sends the 82nd Division in, 82nd Airborne in. But again, even then, I'm like, after watching that military parade, I don't know what our troops can actually accomplish on the ground anymore. Whatever. If the US bombed and sent the submarines to the Black Sea and, went crazy on Russia, sure. Then Ukraine could take back the Donbass and Crimea, although they'd be taking back these populations that hate their guts. Eastern Ukraine and Crimea and southern Ukraine hate the Ukrainian government profoundly. It's just not a thing. And so, I mean, it's been written on the wall for more than a year now, maybe a year and a half at least, that the only deal that's going to happen, that can happen, the only deal that can happen is granting Russia sovereignty, essentially, over Donbass and Crimea. Period. They've won that. You can't. And so in exchange, what are we going to give? Nothing. There's nothing to give. Mm-hmm. We just have to accept that and move on. I mean, the only question is whether Ukraine will be allowed to enter NATO, which is, of course, Russia's primary concern. But that territory, that's done. That's over. And so we're killing people for no reason at this point. And that's what Trump's been saying, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it looks like both parties want to keep fighting.
No,
now, granted, Ukraine
Russia doesn't
is doing it with our weapons, but
I don't think Russia wants to keep fighting. Why would they want to keep fighting? They want the West to finally realize that they've won. Mm-hmm. I mean, I honestly think they're just sitting back there and like launching artillery shells and just blowing up people and like saying, please surrender, please give up. I mean, we're going to keep killing you and killing your proxies until you give up. And we've been here for 2.5 years now. Mm-hmm. 2.5 years. Basically, the front lines haven't really changed. I mean, they seized the Donbass like within a month in 2022, and they've not relinquished really any part of it significantly. Donetsk and Lugansk, the two cities, have never changed sides at all in 2.5 years. I mean, it's been over for a very long time. Ukraine has no chance of defeating Russia, driving them out. And again, the people there hate Ukraine. They hate Ukraine. There is no chance that that's ever going to be reversed. So I think Putin and the Russian military leadership, honestly, and they've been saying this for 1.5 years now. We won. We won. We're waiting for you to surrender and stop fighting and let us have this territory so we can defend our people from your Nazis, which is the origin of that war. Yes, Ukrainian Nazis, not all Ukrainians, but there are Nazis in Ukraine who chose to attack in the most brutal, disgusting ways possible the people in Donetsk and Lugansk in 2014 because they were pro-Russian. And the Ukrainian Nazis are not primarily anti-Jewish. They don't like Jews, but they're primarily anti-Russian. Ukrainian Nazism is mostly anti-Russian racism, some of which is justified and legitimate and whatever, but that's what they're motivated by. And so, yeah, the Azov Battalion and the Svoboda and the Right Sector and their militias in 2014, they went and surrounded Donetsk and Lugansk, these cities in Donbass, and started sending artillery shells in daily. And they killed 10,000 civilians. And that's why Russia entered. That's why Russia intervened. That was the SMO, to save those people who are Russians. They identify as Russian. They want to be part of the Russian Empire. And yeah, that's why the Russian military is there. And they successfully basically did defend the Donbass for the most part, and that's what they did. So whether you like it or not, and I don't even care necessarily one way or the other about that, but that's just a fact on the ground now. And to dislodge them, Russia, from the east and the south of Ukraine would require 10 times bigger war than we've had. And that's all. Putin's just been looking at the West for a year and a half now, saying, like, why do you want to keep doing this? You know, we're not going anywhere. You know, we took this place. You know, the people in the east and the south want to be Russian. All you're doing is continuing this war, killing your own people, killing our people for no good reason. And Trump saw that too. So anyway, that's it. I don't know. It's an eternal death machine.
Mm-hmm. Do you care about the change of circumstance a little bit, that NATO is going to be paying for these weapons and that the burden is going to fall on Europe more now to keep this war going?
I just think it's Trump's. I think he's flailing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we had the Zelensky White House meeting and he thought that was going to be the end of it. You know, Trump always thinks like, oh, this is going to do it. The thing we're doing now, it's going to change the world. That this issue is going to be solved. You know, I'm going to fix the Israel-Palestine problem, and I'm going to fix the Ukraine war, and I'm going to fix everything immediately. That's the way the dude thinks. He's a fucking idiot. I just he really is. He's really fucking stupid. But I think what happened was he had the Zelensky meeting, didn't happen. Zelensky didn't do what Trump thought he would do, refused to come to a deal. And then Putin was like, saw that happening and said, yeah, I'm not coming to a deal with that guy because he wants to go to war with us. Keep going to war with us. And so Trump was like, they don't fucking know what they're doing. He said very famously on the White House lawn, because he didn't get what he wanted. To fucking surrender to reality. And so I think Trump, who doesn't know shit about shit. I mean, do you think Trump has an intimate knowledge of the Ukraine-Russia conflict? No. Or of anything? No. I think he said, yeah, you could see. I mean, he's the first president to curse on the White House lawn, to use the F word. First president to use the F-bomb in American history. That's frustration. He wasn't getting what he wanted because he's an idiot. And he thought just like shaming Zelensky in front of the cameras was going to do the job.
This is real wrong.
He's trying to like force Putin. I don't know. He's trying to force Putin to be conciliatory, but like, what is Putin supposed to give up exactly? He's not even clear about that. What is Putin supposed to give up to make peace? What are we asking Putin to give up? Territory? No, not happening. What else? Like what, it's over. There are Russian troops all up and down eastern Ukraine and southern Ukraine, and the people there, again, overwhelmingly want them to be there. So until there's an internal civil war in those places against the Russians, we just have to accept this, unless we want a very serious war in which we uproot and dislodge entire armies and governments and populations from eastern and southern Ukraine. I don't want to do that.
I'll talk about more of the calculus of this being a purely European conflict now, and just letting Europe fight it out, even though we're selling the weapons, and just exacerbated and fine, you guys fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so that's I hope that happens.
Yeah.
Right. I think. Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? Yes. I just want the US to be out of it.
Yeah.
That's my only political. I mean, I have feelings about things in other parts of the world, of course, and I have preferences. I don't want things to happen. I do want, but it's not I can't have any kind of legitimate political position on it unless my government is involved. And my government is deeply involved in these conflicts that we've been talking about. So, it's just get out, just stop, just leave them alone. I don't know. Why is this so hard, everybody? Switzerland doesn't do this. They don't. They don't like run covert operations against subverting foreign governments. Most countries, almost all countries don't do this. They don't do this. They don't run around the world overthrowing governments, toppling governments, having agents infiltrating all aspects of civil society in these foreign governments, foreign countries, and they don't do it. And they don't like send in their air forces to bomb those countries when the countries don't do what they want. And really, no other country operates like this. We're the only ones. We really don't have to. We really don't. These countries want to trade with us. They like our movies and movie stars and TV shows and music videos and blue jeans and t-shirts, and they want our stuff. They want our technology. They want our development. And that's really it. The vast majority of people in the global South want to watch Pornhub. They don't care about democracy. They want to try the new Starbucks drink. Seriously. Like, really. People in the third world get really excited when Starbucks moves into their countries. And should we laugh at them for that? No. What did we do? What do we still do as Americans? We worship Starbucks. Let these people have what they really want and stop giving them what they really don't want, which is bombs and mercenaries and covert operators and color revolutions and riots in the streets. And it's so simple. Anyway. All right.
Yeah.
What's your final word, brother? And then we're going to go.
Yeah. I don't want to play the 3-minute clip of the CNN polling data predicting that the Republicans have yeah, sure. I don't want to take time away from the after show because the after show is actually a ton of fun, and I want to be with these people. So
thank you.
Yeah, Patreon.com/unregistered still up there, but yeah, move over to ThaddeusRussell.substack.com. Unregistered.
Yeah, just do that. Back. Just do that. Don't worry about Patreon. Patreon people, I've talked to several of you. It's all good. You're going to be transferred, no problem. Nothing will happen to you except you'll just be in the Substack world, paying the same amount. Actually, you have access to much more stuff once you're on Substack. So it makes no sense to go to Patreon. Substack, you get access to this, to the after show, and my articles and Unregistered podcast. My gosh. So yeah, there's go to Substack, become a member, and join us. I want to meet people. We had a lot of new people in the last few weeks from Substack in the after show. It's been a blast to hang out with them and meet them. And so, yeah, come on over. It's so cheap and a good deal. That's it, man. We're out.
Shoot.
Fuck it.
This is the one thing about Epstein. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the fallout from QAnon as well. It's Correct. The energy of QAnon transferring into another pedophile fantasy scenario in your head that was probably manufactured by the deep state itself. All that QAnon has ever done has dumbed down Trump supporters and led them into honeypots. And the Epstein thing is doing the same thing right now. And this thing stinks to high heaven.
Serves them right. They spend all day thinking about having sex with children.
I know it's like the Hunter Biden laptop thing. Like,
yeah. Like
people were sharing
they're obsessed with pedophiles, and most of the time they're not even real pedophiles, which tells me you're fantasizing a whole lot about pedophilia. And also, again, red state, super conservative states, Republican states have the lowest age of consent laws. And then you've got the true crime genre, which is by far the most popular genre among red state conservative people. They love that shit. And God knows 50% of that stuff is about sexual crime and pedophilia. So there's this demographic is spending a ton of time. Oh, and then there's also, where does most pedophilia happen? Pederasty, I should say, meaning like actual rape of actual children.
Well, proximity.
2 places.
The family.
Proximity. And the church.
Synagogues, you're right. Synagogues and public schools. Churches. Yeah. Synagogues and public schools. Yeah.
No, public schools are not even close to
Dude.
No, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
I have personally, my uncle was
Yeah.
molested when he was like 10 years old by his Mormon pastor. No, I mean, my first girlfriend was molested by her Monsignor in Catholic Church in Lexington, Kentucky.
Well,
like,
I mean, yeah.
What?
We've talked about that specific instance a little bit. So,
oh, did you debunk that?
We debunked that on the after show.
We did?
Not to air that publicly. Yeah, we did debunk that on the after show. Well, I mean, not debunk it, but we got to
do that again. Okay, we're going to do that
right. Come to Jesus moment about that.
We're going to do that right now. We're going to get to that right now on the after show right now. Anyway, thank you, brother. I love you. You're the best. You are the fucking best. All right, we'll see everybody, or the smart people in the after show right now. Substack.
Sweet.
Peace.
Peace.